So this is a Handcycle. This is for Handcycle racing for people that have got a double amputation with both legs, or they have a motor control disability, or they have a spinal cord injury as well. We have 5 categories. 1 is the most impaired and 5 is the least impaired, where they might have quite a lot of core function. If they're riding a recumbent Handcycle, they'll be riding in either H1, H2, H3 or H4 categories. With the wheel, they'll have a power tap wheel, or they'll have an SRM in the crank. That's to measure the power output over the race, similar to what you'll find in what you'd call a solo bike or a normal bike. To pedal the bike, I'll just lift up the front wheel, but the rider would have the head at the back, they'd have their feet at the front, and they'd be laying down on the back, and they'd crank the bike like this. So around it goes. As the riders change, they'll hit the gears one at a time to change the gears, and the gears will go down. So every time they do a rotation, they can change the gears. If they're using a Di2, they'd have a Di2 changer on the hand crank, and they can change it whenever they want. But with this one, it's mechanical, so every time they go round, they change the gear. With the chain set, the gears are done just beneath the cranks in the middle here, so they can change it into the middle ring, one at a time. And again, if they're using electronic gears, they can have synchro shift, and they can just change it off one hand and brake on one hand as well. So that's how you'd crank the Handcycle. With the brakes, again, it's just one brake on the front. So as they come past, they'd have to stop pedaling, and as they come past, they'd grab the brake. So here with the seating area, you can get riders to be a little bit closer to the crank, so a little bit further away. They can be quite high, or they can quite low. There's a technical rule which states that they've got to have their eyesight above the level of the bottom bracket. This is so that they can see over the bike and maintain safety, because they'll be riding in real close quarters in the racing. Similar to when they're riding a time trial on a solo bike that you'd see on a Wednesday night at your local 10, riders would ride discs. So with these, they've got 650 wheels, and then on some bikes, they've got 20-inch wheels on the back. This one is made of aluminium, so it's quite an entry-level bike, but you can find bikes that are made of carbon now, and some bikes that have got special titanium parts as well. They'll usually race over a distance of 16 to 20 kilometers, and they'll cover that anywhere between 25 minutes, 25 minutes to 30 minutes. So they're traveling at speeds well in excess of 20 to 30 miles an hour to complete their race distances. In the road race, slightly different. It looks similar to a mountain bike race, a cross-country race. So everyone gets their gridding off their national ranking and international ranking, and it starts really, really quick. The groups get separated, distinct groups, and it's a bunch finish at the end usually. It's quite exciting. There's usually some frills and spills, and it's quite close quarters racing as well.